Well, all right, guys. So we now have finally gotten the speedrun lunchbox built, and today is the 28th. So nothing like being ahead of the game. So as you can see, we have the Hot Wheels kind of themed on the side, a little bit of Evel Knievel stripage on the top, and then some Ampro logos, random Tamiya logos, stuff like that all over. And I'll quickly run through what we've got on here, and then tomorrow morning I'm actually going to get out and run this. I'm thinking I'm going to kind of have a few light passes and see how it goes, and then one, maybe two good runs. So one, I've got to figure out the GPS. Two, we've got to kind of get everything shaken down and make sure everything's tracking and, make any adjustments, and then give it a whirl. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get 1-2 runs out of it, and it's probably going to have a catastrophic wreck at some point. Just, I know me. It's probably going to happen. Now, this body is just going to get some little runs around. I'll put this on when I'm doing some shakedown run, just to get a little bit of footage of it. But we do have you've seen the runner body of it, the old Rustler body. I'm going to stick on there just in case it gets dumped over. I don't want to trash the whole thing. I kind of built it for the speed run, but, it looks pretty cool. I really don't want to trash it. But who knows? I may just say whatever and, send it. We'll see. So, rundown on what we have. I custom printed a little cool roof scoop for the body. No biggie there. So, outwards appearance, the rear tires, obviously not stock. Those are Jayco front. Well, actually, these are front tires, low profile, JAC 2030 LP. I believe these were for the Traxxas Slash, is what they were sold for, but it's 12 millimeter hex. I got the option 1 12 millimeter hex adapters on here in the rear to put these on. Fronts, I'm running the stock spindles. I have the DTO2, DTO3 front wheels and tires on here. Now, those are much thinner than the stock lunchbox tire, the wheels are. So what I had to do was I took four of the 5x8 by 2.5 mil brass bushings and spaced the wheel away to give it a little bit more track width up front to help with the stability. And it worked perfectly. Basically, you can tighten that nut all the way down and then back it off like a quarter of a turn, and the front wheels turn nice and freely. On the rear, we have the option 1 wheelie bar that's adjustable. Really, where it's sitting is probably where it's going to have to stay, because this other eBay special rear shock relocator brace bracket thing is kind of preventing it from coming up. But, there's about an inch of clearance here, so, that's about all I wanted to do a wheelie. We have the Hobby Wing Quick Run something or another, just stock 13.5 motor in here, so it's a 4,000 kV motor, I believe. The ESC, it's a sensor system. We have the Tamiya oil-filled shocks all the way around. The rear is very stiff. Most of it is on the pivot, so the rear is nice and stiff. The front is kind of soft, and I'm thinking that's going to be a good thing. It'll allow it to hit bumps and not get too squirrely, hopefully. We have a low-profile steering servo in here just because it was a little bit faster than the junker that I had in here. We have the Jazz Rider aluminum body mounts. So on the back, we have the custom homemade duct tape engineering stretch to the rear end. So the rear end is pushed back about 3/4 of an inch. And underneath, I forgot to talk about this before. Underneath, it's actually just a piece of wood. As sketchy as that sounds, it's a piece of pine that is basically forcing the differential to the up position. So I saw Rob Brennan and Mark worked on something similar. They basically just filled the cavity with like a putty or something that hardened up. So it's doing the same thing. It's just pushing that down. I'd done it previously. I forgot to mention that little piece of wood was in there. It didn't have to be anything structural or super stiff or anything. It's just there to push it up, and it's got enough slop in there to allow a nice easy pivot, but it's gotten rid of all the side to side. So I'm thinking that's going to help out a lot. The brass piece in here is going to help with some weight down low. I have, let's see, 2.5 ounces of these self-stick wheel weights up front. I'm going to take another handful with me. The battery is going to get zip tied in up front, riding in up here. So I'll run a zip tie around and kind of secure that in, and that'll put some additional weight on the front end to try to keep the front end down and, you know, keep it from trying to tip itself over. Let's see. Oh, it does have the Hot Racing aluminum spur and counter gear in the transmission. So thank you so much, Alberto from Ampo Engineering. He actually sent over some 3D printed front suspension arm modifications that he's done for the lunchbox. Now, these modifications are super cool because you don't have to do any kind of, you know, permanent modification to the front end of your lunchbox. All of this just bolts in, screws in to the existing holes that are in there. The only thing you have to do is you have to make 2 front links and add in some ball studs from, you know, junk hardware that you have. They're roughly 60 millimeter ball stud links that you need to make. I got some 6x32 stainless steel hardware. They're 2-inch long. I was able to cut them down. Had about, you know, a 1/4 inch to spare, and just cut the ends of the heads off and thread them right into it. They are going to be super, super, super tough. The whole front end of the truck can probably get wrecked, and these things are going to stay straight. But basically, what it does is it gets rid of the wonky camber. So you can push up and down on this guy all day long, and the tires just go like this. It is so cool. So that's going to help a lot. You know, there's not going to be that crazy caster change when you're taking off, and then when you're slowing down. You know, I don't want that, you know, tires doing this as, you know, the front end's unloading and loading up. You know, to, you know, start darting all over the place. It's going to stay nice and true. I've got a little bit of camber into it and a little tiny bit of front toe just to try to keep the front end from to be stable at speed. Again, we'll adjust everything when we get there to make final adjustments. But, you know, huge shout out to Ampo Engineering. Going to be rocking the stickers on there. You're absolutely awesome. And the coolest thing is he thought he had some, but realized he didn't have some, and he actually stole these off of his lunchbox. So thank you so much for sacrificing your front end parts. I'm really hoping I am able to get this back in one piece and don't trash it. Now, he did warn me they are super tough, but they are not meant for what this is going to be. You know, small little tumbles as a stock lunchbox, they'll hold up fine. Tumble at 40 miles an hour, probably nothing is going to be safe. All right, guys, I'm going to shut up. The next time you see me, we're going to be out in a parking lot somewhere. Hopefully I can find somewhere nice and clear, and we're going to send this guy, and, you know, fingers crossed, all goes well. All right, guys, so we're out here today. We're going to get the speed run done. Sorry, the really up close visual of the face here, but the car is ready to go, and we're going to do some quick little, just making sure everything is dialed in, and then we're going to start, we'll take the body off and then actually start the speed run.
I'm not that fast.
Well, that didn't take long. Oh yeah, nice scratches.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go too far. You gotta retrieve.
I think we're just gonna send it. All right, guys. So if you can see, it's like 1.2 miles an hour on here right now. So let's take it for a rip and see what happens. And we'll send it up that way and.
Okay.
Oh, she's so sketchy. I just let her drive. I didn't even try to correct it. Alright, let's bring that back and see what it says. I don't know how many we're going to get. My hands are already shaking. didn't record it. Alright, since we have no idea what we're doing with this stupid little GPS thing, when it came back it still said 1.2 miles an hour, but evidently we got up to 44, but, you know, I'm not going to count it because it didn't show up when we came back. So we're going to give it another run and hopefully it stays together. Alright, so we've got it set back to 0. Hopefully it will record the max speed again, and this time it won't take the camera away so fast. Hopefully it survives.
Still recording.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
Alright, she landed on her wheels.
Well, gotta fix the battery. What did it say? Alright, we got 37 on that one. And that was still not full throttle yet. So let me fix the battery and get this thing back together. So we are back on 0 miles an hour.
And is that set to... Okay, max. Yep.
Now, help Timmy turn the car on.
Try to stay in that middle lane. Yeah.
Ooh, that was close.
Pucker factor 2.
Whoa, where you going? Where you going? Where you going? All right, 48. That is freaking insane. All right, camera lady, reset. Do it one more time. All right, reset back to 0. Let's give it one more try.
Shit.
Freaking traffic.
Yeah. Keep going, dude.
When I first came down, I was like, I don't see the RC car. Where is it? I didn't want to run over it. And then I saw it coming down, so I knew you had something. I said, where is it? I want to try to run over
Yeah, we're doing the dumbest thing ever. We're taking an old Tamiya lunchbox and seeing how fast we can get it going.
Oh, okay.
I just got it going 48, so hold on a second. Let's see what I got this one up to.
Oh, 44.
Only
You didn't beat
44
it.
points. Alright, I said the last one's going to be the last one, but, you know, it's not. So we're zeroed out again. The last one was like 44.6, I think. I really want to hit 50, but, you know, I'm happy with what we got. And, you know, it's still running, so why not do it one more time? Alright, well I think that one's going to call it. We got the rear brace popped out, so that's here. So now the rear end's going to be floating all over the place. Tire's wonky. And we got 42 out of that. So we're going to call that a day. I don't want to destroy this thing completely. Well, alright guys, so we're back in the garage. I tried filming an outro on location, but it was terribly windy and you could hardly hear anything I was saying. So I'm really pleased with the outcome of it. 48 miles an hour out of a lunchbox, is something I never thought I would actually see, much less do. So I'm super thrilled to be a part of this. Thank you, Phil, for putting this on. I know 48 has already been, bypassed by some others, but I had a great time doing it. I wish I could have gotten more videos out, but everything, happens for a reason. Overall, it did pretty well. Sketchy is about the best I could say. You really had to just slowly feather on the throttle, and if you got a little bit too much at any point, that front end started coming up and then it started dancing, and you were just along for the ride at that point. So I was running it on one of these little Gold Bat 1500 milliamp 100C 3-cell packs. I use these in my crawlers. These are great little batteries, and I had that basically strapped into the very front end. Like I said, we had a few ounces of weight up here and this battery up here, and all the electronics shifted as forward as possible, and it still just wanted to ride wheelies. I'm really glad I went with the skinny front tires. Basically it gave it that downward rake, and took away some of the grip steering, because any steering input at speed, once you got this thing above 20 miles an hour, it just wanted to do this, especially with this body on there. We did get some road rash here on the front window, but like I said before, it's just proof that this happened. It's a memory from the speed run, and I'm going to keep this body, and I'll probably run it later on. I can change it out with the yellow body and run this around in the yard just to have fun with it. Huge shout out to Ampro. Your front end parts have now been torture tested up to 48 miles an hour. I know some of those rolls were probably in the 30, mid 30s to probably close to 40 mile per hour. I know that first wreck was at 37. And yeah, front end's fine. Everything came back pretty much in one piece. Like I said, a little bit of road rash on the body, got a little chunk out of one of the tires here, a little bit of rim scuffs, but everything is still usable and ready to go again. Now I will be converting this back to a lunchbox and using it on fun runs. I'll shorten the wheelbase back up. I don't think I'm going to leave it the long wheelbase, just because I don't know. We'll see. I can still fit a battery in there, I think, but this will be kind of the retirement of Addam speed runs. These things are nerve-wracking. My hands were literally shaking on the steering wheel at one point, just because that first wreck kind of got me a little shook. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna try to cut it off here. Everybody out there, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and good luck to everybody else. It's been awesome watching everybody else's runs. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you later. Well, gotta fix the battery.